Hey YouTube world, welcome back to Neville Girl Forever. Thanks for joining me. I'm going to continue on from the last video. That is why I believe that Neville was a genius at helping us create our dream life. How he's helped me change my life in so many ways in such a short amount of time. And we were discussing SATS, the state akin to sleep. And, Neville, pretty much the feeling, you really want to focus on the feeling of the wish fulfilled and say to yourself or think about, isn't it wonderful? That was one of his sayings he's really well known for, and we'll talk about that some more. But Neville emphasizes you must get into a state of already having the feeling of the wish fulfilled. That, my friends, is the law of assumption. You assume you've already created it in your SATS. You assume the feeling that you know that it's already here. So you have to believe that when you've gone into your SATS and you've created your dream, whatever that movie it is that you're playing in the first person, that it's already there, the feeling of it already fulfilled. And you go to the end. We kind of went through that too. So if you have a little question mark, if you have not been following along, go back to the last video. I go over quite a bit because there's things I wanted to add to this conversation. So ask yourself, how would I feel if XYZ happened? Whatever that dream is. And like I said, I recommend going big. How does it feel? But okay, so you might say, Neville girl, well, I'm having a hard time feeling that feeling, like maybe not even first person sensations of the AC, etc., but the feeling. So there are some exercises that I think really help that I've learned along the way from other people I've studied with. And so I really think it's important to write down in bullet points on a piece of paper somewhere. You don't have to, but it's a recommendation of what your favorite movies you would like to play. Like, what does your dream life look like in, I guess, maybe use the quadrants, in health, in love, in finances, but you can pick like your car, your whatever, just work, just whatever it is. And then imagine a movie you want to play. And again, you're the starring actor, actress in first person. So one of the questions we always went over in other teachings I studied was you ask yourself, what do you want? Why do you want it? And how do you want to feel? And there's some pluses and minuses to this list, and I'll share why. So what do you want? Well, that's an important question. You have to be pretty clear. I think it's okay to go general. If you just want your dream life and you just imagine a bunch of really cool things, if that works for you, okay. I think that can work too. I'll be honest. I've seen that because I wasn't very specific about some things that I was wanting to create and manifest. And that worked out great because God Universe knows the generals. Like, I wanted to take some time off and go on a trip, right? Like, that would be really amazing and juicy in my life. I always knew I would like to go visit Greece. That was on my list. It's someplace kind of cool to check out. It happened that way. So I was super general, and I didn't have a visual necessarily about a trip, at least not initially, until it became part of a dialogue. So then here's the tricky one. Why do you want it? I think that can be a good question, but I also think it's tricky because that can get you in your head. And so it can give you a clue. Like, I just don't want you quantifying why you want it. Like, you don't have to explain why you want anything. You just want it. And that's why I love Neville. He just goes to the end. So you don't have to explain why you want something. You want it. You want a trip. You want your SP. You want $1 million. A different kind of a work situation. You want something. So that one can be tricky. I really feel like it can get you in your head, which I believe starts to kind of slow down manifestation quite a bit. And then how do you want to feel? That's a good question to ask yourself, because those are the essences you want to pick up in that little movie in your SATS at night, the state akin to sleep. You want to, if you're focusing on SP, your special person, your soulmate, you're trying to usher in, you want to feel how you would want to feel if that person was in your life. Or if you already have someone in your life, how would you like to now be feeling with them? That's also important too, because we're going to get a little into revision. But those are working with the SATS technique and Neville's revision. I think really makes him genius because he hacked through our subconscious and through the matrix. Part of it is the language he's using, because we're not in the tense of wanting. Once you've gone into SATS, you've already created it, therefore you have it. So therefore you're not in the state of want. I discovered the hard way. Law of attraction means like attracts like. You get what you think about and who you are, not what you want. What you want. If you want it, that is law of attraction. It is, you're in the state of want. So that's one of the reasons why out of so many, why I think Neville was a genius. Because he puts us in a state of not want, but that it's already done. It's already finished. You have it. You have to believe it and persist. So in the meantime, I've seen this already, and I really want to freestyle with you all on these, so when I go live. But what to do once you have already done your SATs, you feel like you're done with a movie, you want to go to your next. That's why I think it's really great to have bullet points of different movies you want to play in the different quadrants of your life. Just sit back, think about it on a day. That can change, and obviously you can mark it off a list once it's come to happen. But once you've done that, what do? Well, once you get into the place where you feel like you could take a break on that particular movie, that particular scenario, drop it, so to speak, you can still dwell on it in the sense. I like listening to certain audios, and I'm going to share along the way which ones, but I can just drive to work saying, or to my office saying, hey, I don't want $1 million because I already have it, and that feeling in your body. I don't want my SP because I already have my SP, even if they weren't there yet, right? We're talking about different things, but also too, there's mantras. And although I described the thank you prayer as a prayer, it's a mantra. And you really want to notice where your mind frame is. So thank you for showing me that this issue is already solved, turned into wonderful mantra. It's not one you want to say all the time, because it doesn't always. If you're in a place where everything's flowing and is amazing, okay, there's going to be those days. I've had them. I love those days. They're amazing. But chances are there's going to be a new area of your life that's going to come to your attention, and you're going to say, oh my gosh, I hadn't really thought of doing a SATS on this. I hadn't really thought of this situation. I might want to work on it. I might want to create a new movie. I go to sleep at night and work on it. So instead of, when you hear that chatter coming up, someone said something to you, you had an experience, and all this inner dialogue is coming to you, that's when you just pause and say, thank you for showing me that this issue is already solved. And you can name it, this issue with a person, with work, with my vehicle, whatever, SP, doesn't matter. That helps bring a calming soothness. Why? Because of the tense, because it's already solved. And it may not sound possible. You might be like, oh gosh, you have loads of problems going on. There's things happening. Well, you want to try and not think about the problems, suspend them just an hour at a time, a day at a time, but use mantras like, thank you for showing me that this issue is already solved, because it's telling your subconscious to go to work already and solve it. And your body feels a calmingness come over your nervous system. There's something magical about it. Neville was a genius. He really was. So that's one thing I wanted to share. I also wanted to share, like, it's a thrill and it's an excitement when you believe that you've created and manifested and it's unfolding. You're like, oh my gosh, this thing is happening. Here's the SP, here's a new work situation, here's whatever. There's a trip. Now, once that thing has unfolded in your life, and this is just my experience, so I'm sharing with you what I feel is really, really important. You know, here we are having our experience. We've created this amazing thing into our life, but we start to add our energy, and where we have changed along the way working with Neville, like we will change, our vibration will change and we will change, but we don't change overnight. We change incrementally. Depends on how much effort you're putting into changing your vibration, doing your SATS, doing the other things, and just becoming that new person, because you are assuming a new identity. Slowly but surely. Sometimes they can be quantum jumps at time. I do believe in that. I witnessed it myself, but I'm still part of, we're still always growing, I guess is the best way to say it. So there's still a part of you that isn't 100%. You typically, you know, there's remnants. So things are going to come up in your mind. And I started realizing that, hey, you can affect this thing you've manifested, and what you do with it really, really matters. So number one, when you're done doing your SATs, just think of mantras. My other one is, isn't it wonderful? Everything is just wonderful. And then think about all the wonderful things in your life. Be grateful. Think about what you're grateful for. Even on a crappy day, there's always something to be grateful for. And we'll talk about that some more, but gratitude is another thing, because when you're grateful, that is the law of attraction. You attract more things you are grateful for. So back to the law of assumption, which I'm just in love with in so many ways. So when you have attracted your manifestation, here you are. So you're going to a place, or your SV is here, or your money is here. You're going to have a chatter start to come up. I think it's really best to be settled in what you would like to be thinking about, because now that you're experiencing this, unless you're 100% changed, you can start to affect the outcome of how it's unfolding at some point. In other words, you know, if you always had issues with your previous relationships, that can still seep in. It's not that you didn't manifest your dream person, your SP, but you really have to think about what you're thinking about. Right? It gets a little tricky, my friends. It really does. So, and that is, we don't need to think about a million things. That is our ego that is trying to protect us. It's trying to solve things. And sometimes it's based on previous memories. And when you work with Neville, you start to recognize that you don't have to think about the past at all. Actually, it is best if you forget it. If you just pretend you're brand new, you have amnesia, because those memories can trip you up. So there are things you can do working with other processes. We called it the wobble. So when you start to wobble and you notice you're having an inner dialogue, and it's not like, oh my gosh, this person's the most amazing person. Now it starts to be like, what if this, or I haven't heard from them that, and you go to a place, you want to stop. Just stop yourself and have set dialogues. And it's so general, but I swear they really work. And you can use it with anything. Use it at work. You know, you saw improvements at work or in your career or your finances, and then your brain starts, and you don't want to attract the direction that inner dialogue is going to be maybe leading you to. It can be affecting your manifestation. You created this amazing thing. Stay on track. This is my personal opinion. This is my personal experience, and know you can do it. So have your mantras ready. We'll either have some favorite videos, audios, and I will eventually start to be pinning some of my favorite resources on YouTube. There's amazing people, but you know, thank you for showing me that this issue is already solved. Or isn't it wonderful? Everything's just wonderful. If it's a person, you know, think about the wonderful things about that person. Also, you can keep it even more general, because you want to just create only the beautiful part of your manifestation, right? So just sometimes I'll just say, I'm ready to be ready. I'm ready to be ready for my dream life. I'm ready to be ready for love and everything as it unfolds. I'm ready to be ready for my dream career. I'm ready to be ready for some amazing travel. Just, you don't have to think a lot about it. I know I personally, I love details. I'm a details person. That does not work in our favor here. It really doesn't, because our previous paradigms can kick in and be like, oh, this happened, so that must mean, or what does this mean? Or, don't do that if you can help it. And I know that's a muscle, just like creating at night and SATS and actually really playing out the first person. This is one too. It's a muscle. So it is a temptation to go back into a previous story. But just like we talked about in manifestation, zip it. It's kind of like, if you don't like that story, quit telling that story. Just drop it, zip it. Don't even talk about what you're wanting to manifest. Same thing goes. Once the manifestation's here, we have our history. And unless you can really work hard on having amnesia, you're going to have to just think of some amazing things to think of throughout the day, or some amazing audios or subliminals. I'm big on those too. And like I said, I'll be sharing some of my favorite resources here on YouTube. I think there's some really amazingly talented people. Their content that I just feel has accelerated my working with Neville's processes, but also can help you with this, because it's so important what you think about all day long. So it's not just at night. Yeah, I know. You start to think, well, wow, this sounds like Neville Girl. This sounds like a full-time job. Well, in a way it is, because you're becoming a new person, and that new person's, whoever that is, that's who you have to be, and on some level, to usher in some things and actually maintain it. I don't know if you can necessarily lose a manifestation, but I think you can potentially screw it up. Things go sideways because of some past memories, some past paradigms. So it's really important. So not only working on SATS at night and what you do before you go to bed, but also to what you wake up to. I actually love to do SATS first thing in the morning. Sometimes when I'm so tired at night, I know I'm going to fall asleep and I'm not going to be able to create a movie for too long. I might put it on a subliminal, something else I can listen to continue to feed my mind positively at night. But I will wake up in the morning, do my affirmations, and listen maybe to whether some Neville content, read some Neville content, some affirmations. But I want to make sure that what I'm listening to, what my subconscious is taking in, is on par for what I'm wanting to manifest and maintain in my manifestation. Comment below if you agree or disagree. I think I've seen this. And so, you can have a day at work. You can have a day with your person. They're amazing. Work is amazing. Some things are going right, but there's these off days. And anything you're experiencing now is based on previous energy, right? So how you react to it is really important. That is the law of attraction. So if you're at a point where something's going sideways, but now you are starting to react to it, or let's just say you feel like it could be going sideways. Doesn't necessarily mean it is, but it could be your paradigm popping in. So like, I've been here before, I've heard these words or this situation. Something still is there from, let's say, your previous life, and it's coming back to you. Well, how you react. So don't react. Go to your mantras. Go to the end, even if you close your eyes a couple times a day. I know a lot of people set their timer. I try to set my timer 2, 3, 4 times a day, if at all possible. Depends on the schedule. And go to that feeling with that person, or that feeling with at work, or that feeling of prosperity. Maybe you just had a bill that showed up, and it's just those things. So like I said, be aware of what you're focusing on, because I feel like a manifestation can go a little sideways once it's here or an unfolding, and it's all in your best favor to just have amnesia, just an hour at a time, a day at a time, to have your favorite mantras, your favorite audios, and your favorite things that you want to dwell upon. And we're going to start to go over Neville's book, because I wanted to jump in with some of my 2 cents on what I'm experiencing as things are unfolding and wanting to share my journey. I'm so excited to share some more, but I just can't right now. But there's lots of really amazing things that I've already created, but they're unfolding, and so I can't talk about them. So in the meantime, just think about content, and I don't know really how to pin yet, but as I come across my favorite things, I'm going to start to either type it out in the comment section or pin it, my favorite resources, because it is really important what you're thinking about. And I don't know if you can hear in the background, but that's my sweet little Yorkie. You're going to see her at some point. Her name is Cricket. She's something amazing that I created many years ago, and she's just been my soulmate, which brings me to energetic piggybacking. And we'll talk about this more as we go, but I don't want to make this video too long. But here's the thing. So say you want love, but you haven't experienced love in a long time. And I feel like when we go through tough times too, we can start to feel numb in categories, just like I don't even hardly remember. I really feel energetic piggybacking is super important to help us get there. So I've heard people say, you know, it's just like, if I haven't had love for a long time, how do I feel like being loved and adored? Well, you know, your dog or your cat, or like a niece, like an amazing hug from, you know, someone special in your family, that's loved and adored too. So those are important things to dwell upon. Support. Say you're not feeling support in one area of your life, think about the support you're getting in others, and kind of, you can even add that sensation, like I said, to like a different movie that you're playing, because you do know what support feels like in general, I would hope, at least in one category of your life. So that is what I think is energetic piggybacking. Also, let me think of some other examples. Okay, so I think I mentioned previously that my car is almost paid off. It's amazing. Regular route, wasn't making extra payments or anything special, but it's just about to be ready to be paid off. Well, I recognize that is a great way to energetically piggyback, because there's a few other things I'd like to pay off, right? And I'm working on it, you know, slow and steady. I'm open to overnight, but just so imagining how exciting it is to just write that final check. That's a yummy, delicious, great feeling. Well, I realized, well, there's a few other things that I want to pay off. So therefore, I'm going to visualize not only when I'm writing this last check, which I know is happening. I know this is just like a month or two down the road, but I started realizing I need to visualize a few other things that I'm writing a check, and that take that same sensation when I think about the warm, yummy goosebumps of writing that last final check to, or making my final payment for my vehicle. Well, I realized I can do the same thing. I can visualize writing a check for something else and take that same vibrational feeling and apply it to little movies related to that. And so I don't have too much to pay off, but still, I realized that is how you can energetically piggyback. That's how you can accelerate something. You know, you might say, oh, my finances are handled, everything's good, I make decent money, like no problem. But why not? Why not? Like I'm a big, like, go big, you know, think of whatever. I mean, you know, whatever my financial goals are and what I'm trying to attract and manifest, all those things, which we can't talk about that right now, but still, it's just, it makes my life better and easier. So that's an opportunity I recognize. Like I said, I don't always catch them, but that one was like, oop, I caught that one. I was actually on my trip to Greece, and I realized that I'm so excited about writing that final check or making that final payment that I'm going to use that for a few other things. And so I'll keep you posted, but that is energetic piggybacking. So think about where you can take from one part of your life to another, so that you already know you have the sensation in your body. You already know how it feels, and take it to the other quadrant and kind of translate it. That's the best way I can describe it. Like I said, when we start to go lives, I think I've mentioned, if you would like my content, enjoy what I'm talking about, I'm really wanting to support you on your journey, and I would love to do freestyle, love to go live. So I believe it takes 50 followers, 50, to be able to go live. And I don't think that'll take too long, even though it's a new channel. So let me know about content too. Let me know what you would like to see, what you would like to talk about, and what your questions are. But I'm just wanting to share some things about why I am such a Neville girl. I'm never going to be able to shut up about this. And share my enthusiasm and my support for you on your journey. And hopefully something I'm sharing makes sense to you, and maybe, you know, lights a light bulb, like something clicks for you, because there was just that click moment where I realized, oh my gosh, like this is like the secret to the sauce. There's these people who just seem to have extraordinary lives. You know, they don't seem to work any harder or anything, but something seems magical. And I came across Neville, and honestly, I'm in the middle of a lot of things, but my life feels magical. I actually will do some lives and some day in the lives, because yesterday, I'm not going to go over it now, but yesterday I was in the flow, and nothing special about the day, except for every interaction had something extraordinarily special about it. Just a regular Saturday errands kind of day. So my point is, Neville changed my life. I hope information I am sharing with you is helping you understand Neville and how he can change your life, and why I think he was such a genius. And you don't have to believe that he was a genius. You don't actually have to believe in any of these processes. I mean, one of the things about Neville is that, like, you don't have to believe it. Just try it. Just try the SATS. Just try the thank you prayer and see what happens, because you will experience anyway. Just like I experienced the furniture that I manifested. That was one of my first large manifestations. For $100, having a friend of mine help me move some stuff for like an hour or two from an estate. I have more details on the previous video, but I got like over $5,000 worth of amazing brand new stuff. It was free, basically. It cost me $100. But what happened afterward is I changed my mind, or hadn't made up my mind what I was going to do with the furniture. So when you start manifesting and you're in the flow state, just even if you were to manifest like $1 million, but you change your mind, well, it's still going to happen. So test it out. I guess you can go donate it or give it away to friends. So what happened to my furniture? Now it's sitting in my garage, because I met my SP during that time, and I recognized, no, I probably didn't want to have a roommate, and that I was uncertain about what I was going to do with the furniture. Like, I could always flip it. Do I want to set it up as a gorgeous guest bedroom? I've been really busy with a lot of amazing things that are unfolding. So that's the thing. You will manifest. I was just thinking about decorating that room, and boom, there it was. It's mine to keep in my garage, and just like, what am I doing with this? Haven't made up my mind yet, but it looks like I will be moving, and therefore it's probably going in storage to help with the moving process and everything. But that's Neville, people. That's Neville. You can create anything, and it is important not to be attached. I did not know this furniture was coming my way. It was a very gentle, it would be really nice. Like, I could visualize this, furnishing this room. It was super general. Just like taking the trips was very like, oh, I'd like to take a trip, or I'd like to check out Mary Morrissey. This Dream Village Live seems kind of cool. I know she really has some amazing content that I've observed over the years. And so you don't want to be attached, but when your creation comes in, it's yours to do with what you will. So I would say preserve it. If it's like a long-term thing, work, SP, finances, notice what you're noticing, see what you're focused on, because I think you can add some wobbles in there that can make it, I don't know how better to describe it, but you want it to continue on. So one girlfriend said, why are you still Nevilleizing if all this stuff has happened? And I said, because it never ends. There's more that is coming my way that I already have created. There's more things that I want to maintain, and I'm going to be growing and expanding, and there'll be more that I want to create beyond this. So our work is never done, and I think practice makes perfect. And so anyway, thanks for joining me today. That is, I think, a long enough video, and I just love you guys, and I'm so excited to share more. But I did want to share about energetic piggybacking and what to do with our creations, and zipping it. Remember, zip it. Don't talk about it. Don't talk about what's not going right. I think it's cool to talk about what is going right, but afterward. But that's just my opinion. Let me know what y'all think. All right. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you on the next one. Bye, guys.